Hello, everybody, and welcome back to These Aren't the Nerds You're Looking For, first episode of 2019. Well, first Resistance episode, anyways. So, Kevin and I have been on a long break, and we are getting back into things.
Howdy.
And how's it going, man?
I figure I maybe should say hello, so...
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
I kind of just steamrolled
over here
through that introduction. Yeah. Like I said, we're on a break. We're coming back from a long break, so... How was your Christmas holiday season? Good, sir?
It was good, man. It's been busy. So it was nice.
It wasn't snowing then, but it's snowing now though there, right?
Yeah, we just got through like a winter snowstorm that was supposed to have like record-breaking accumulation. Wasn't quite that heavy, but I think I got 9 to 10 inches at my house.
Whew.
And the Highway Patrol Department, although they did much better this time than the last storm, I think some stats that I heard were that there was, I think, 796 stranded motorists that were saved by first responders, and there was somewhere in the ballpark of like 900-ish accidents that were also taken care of, and this was in a like 48-hour time span. So
Eesh.
It was pretty rough on the roadways. But,
Yeah.
What can you do? It's over
Yeah,
now.
that does not sound fun. That's good.
We're supposed to be getting more snow at the end of this week, so bring it on, Mother Nature.
Good luck. Good luck with that. Anyways, today we will be talking about the first Resistance episode of 2019. This is episode, by our count, 11 or 12.
Yeah, it's 11 or 12. It's probably 12, but
probably 12. Yeah, it's probably 12.
Probably 12. So there was a mid-season break throughout the holidays. So I'm going to give you a pop quiz, Lorenzo.
Go for it.
And I'm going to run through the first 10 episodes of Resistance and see if you can give me any kind of what you remember from each episode. So episode 1 was The Recruit.
Yes.
Yep.
So Kaz gets inducted into the Resistance via Poe, heads to Colossus to spy and figure out First Order dealings.
Awesome. We'll give you a point for that. The Triple Dark.
There is a dude bro that needs his ship fixed. A Triple Dark storm occurs, and it is chance for smugglers to come and try and pirate stuff from the Colossus.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll just call that pirate attack.
Yeah, pirate attack.
Fuel for the fire.
There is a dude that Kaz tries to be friends with. Turns out the dude only wants to steal fuel to make his ship go faster.
Yep. We meet Frodo, fighter pilot. Frodo Racer Baggins.
Yeah, Racer. Yeah.
Speed Baggins.
Yeah.
That sounds not right.
What else you got?
The High Tower.
Shit. This is so they get into the High Tower. Kaz sees where all the aces live.
Yeah, don't we
and
meet?
Then beyond,
I think we meet Hype Phazon in this one, right?
Yeah, we meet Hype in this one, but I really don't honestly remember what actually happens in this one.
The Aunt Z, the bartender, tells Kaz that Doza is in league with the First Order, and that's what he's doing, sitting up there in his high tower all the time.
So he goes up to try and gain intel, basically, on Captain Doza?
I think so. Then we have the children from Tehar.
There are 2 refugee children that show up in the Colossus that may or may not have a bounty on them. And Kaz is trying to figure out what to do with the children when he encounters them, and decides to basically hide them in the engineering level with a bunch of shell folk.
Yeah. It's our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episode.
But yeah, yes, yeah.
Next is Signal from Sector 6.
Poe comes back, takes Kaz out on a random mission. They come across a signal. There's a distress call. They head out there. They pick up a survivor. Unbeknownst to them, the survivor is in fact a pirate.
Yes. And her name is Sinara. So
Sinara.
Next episode is Sinara's score.
Oh, Lord. This is the one I don't remember because Sinara's score does not come up at any point. I think she tries to coordinate another pirate attack on the Colossus and it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know, man. I'd have... Yeah.
Like, there's an opportunity to steal something from the Colossus, and they try to do it, but they don't.
Yeah.
Therefore, Sinara's score as a title doesn't make sense because they don't actually score anything.
I don't remember what the score would have been, though, either. So,
right.
I'm kind of at a loss on that one. The Platform Classic, up next.
This is when there is a big championship race, and there's like all these certain rules, and
who do we meet?
I don't remember, honestly.
Yeager's brother.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's right.
His name is like Speedy McGee or something.
So then Yeager...
Starfight.
I don't know.
Starship.
No.
Lord Pile.
Anyways, while you're trying to figure that out, Yeager enlists basically to something brother something. They reconcile.
Well said.
What else you got?
Secrets and holograms.
First Order shows back up, talks to Captain Doza. Captain Doza has literal secrets in his closet.
Ooh, well done. I forgot about that. Because he has he's got an Imperial officer uniform, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Yes, indeed.
Station Theta Black. Come on, I just
there is a hidden station. Yeah. Because I'm still mixing it up with Signal from Sector 6. There is a hidden station out in an asteroid field. Kaz and Poe are back at it. Phasma gets involved. Red Stormtrooper, whose name is now lost from my memory, is involved. They're all basically there, I think. And then they're going to self-detonate the station, and then Kaz and Poe get out of there.
Yes, and that would be Major Von Reg.
Yes, Von Reg. That's right.
And what was being mined on Station Theta Black was some type of ore used to build weapons.
Yeah.
And we surmise that possibly this was raw materials being funneled to the Starkiller base.
Starkiller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yep. So that brings us up to episode 11/12, Bibo.
Bibo. All right. I'm going to do a quick run through.
You got it.
So, again, new episode. Spoiler warnings. I'm going to do a quick, hopefully 5-minute summarization of the whole episode. Ready?
Ready.
So the episode starts. We've got Sinara salvaging a ship. It's a Z-95 fighter. She's getting parts for Kaz to help fix the fireball. A creature emerges from the fighter. Neeku adopts the pet and names it Bibo. Tam notes that parts from the Z-95 are corroded. Kaz goes back to check if Sinara can get more. Sinara is making a call to Kragan, who tells her that Kaz and the other guy that rescued her, Poe, are resistance fighter. She's not sure about that, but she'll figure that out. Kaz shows up pretty much right, interrupting her call. And so Sinara suggests to Kaz that they go back out to salvage more parts. Back at the shop, Bibo is causing a major mess. Yeager wants Bibo gone. Neeku, however, does not want to give Bibo up. It's his best friend in the whole wide world, and gives an ultimatum saying that if Bibo goes, so does Neeku. Sinara tries to get Kaz to confess to some sort of secret, if he's a spy, if he's working Resistance. Kaz is wise enough to not say anything. While they are off the Colossus, they're out in the open water. A big old sea monster starts splashing around and heads for the platform. Sinara and Kaz turn around and try and get to the Colossus beforehand to give warning that there's some giant sea monster headed their way. Back on the Colossus, Neeku can't find Bibo. Yeager reports to Tam a disturbance in engineering, and therefore they head on down to see if that is indeed Bibo causing a disturbance in engineering. They head on down to engineering and find Bibo, and they also come across Kel and Ayla, who Tam had not previously met, so she asks about them, finds out more about them. Ayla starts speaking of a premonition she had regarding Bibo and the dangers present when Bibo is around and the havoc that will be coming to the Colossus. As soon as that is said, havoc comes to the Colossus. Kaz and Sinara show back up the Colossus. They're trying to warn people. People are not listening. They do not give a fuck.
No fucks were given.
Not at all. They try and pull a pirate alarm, pirate warning alarm. They are stopped by two robots, security droids. At that moment, giant tentacles surface from the water, and everybody then freaks the fuck out. A squadron is deployed. The pirate alarm is indeed pulled.
And the squadron being a squadron.
Yes, yeah. So a squadron, so that's Hype, Phazon, and other Doza.
Yeah, there's
young
a bunch
Doza.
Of them. All of them go out.
Basically.
We got all the Power Rangers, the yellow one, the teal one, the red one, the black one.
Yeah. Yep. They're all out there flying around. Tam notes that the creature seems to be hunting specifically for Bibo. Anytime the tentacles show up outside of a window, they seem to be aware of their surroundings and see Bibo. At the same time, Kaz is getting to the fireball to help the A Squadron fight this monster. Captain Doza, after disapproving the use of missiles to ensure the safety of the Colossus, lasers aren't cutting it, and then Captain Doza approves the use of missiles, so they just start blasting the shit out of it. It still does not seem to be affecting the monster in any way. The creature sights Neeku and Bibo, and everybody's kind of freaking out again, but then Neeku kind of has a revelation, orders the attack stopped. Everybody is questioning this decision. Bibo steps out onto the platform, outer platform of the Colossus. Turns out the creature is Bibo's mother, Tam notes. Neeku then hands Bibo over, and the creature is happy. Bibo gives one last goodbye to Neeku, and mother and child, I guess we don't know the gender of Bibo, go back into the ocean.
Bibo is a male.
Is that noted?
It is noted.
Okay. Good to know. And so we get one last little scene where Kaz tries to give Neeku a new pet for a present. He presents a Gorg, which we have seen before, but as we have seen, the Gorgs are delicacies to be eaten. So the first thing Neeku does is just eat this thing whole, and it grosses Kaz out.
This thing's like the size of a bowling ball, and he just
right. It's like a one chomp.
It down.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and with that, we cue fanfare.
Cue fanfare, buddy.
Yeah. I did it. About 5 minutes there.
5, 6. You did well.
Yeah.
So Bibo is a Rachna. ROKKNA.
Have we seen?
This came from... Where did this info come from? StarWars.com. Buckets list extra 9 fun facts from Bibo. So
is this a creature we've seen before?
No, it is not.
Okay, interesting. Very nice.
They come from the Caribbean, Caravian, Caravian Trench. Yeah.
Caravian Trench. That's how I'll go with that one. Yeah.
There we go. So that is where they reside, Bibo and Bibo's mommy. So that's what info I have on that. But to throw out a couple of questions at you.
Yes.
Where do I want to start here? How do you feel about Bucket?
Bucket is a non-character to me.
Yeah.
I do not care about Bucket. Bucket could die in the next episode, and I would feel nothing.
Do you think Bucket is supposed to eventually replace and be like the fun-loving droid of the series? Because right now we have BB-8. BB-8 has to leave at some point in time. BB-8 has to go back to Poe.
And I'm upset with how we've had this discussion before. They should have. I don't know what BB-8 is doing, honestly.
Right.
Like, you have BB-8 and you have Bucket. From a writing standpoint, it's really clear that one character isn't doing anything. So even if BB-8 leaves later, I still don't care about Bucket because you haven't. The writing hasn't earned that yet.
Bucket has earned nothing except for he's present in a couple of episodes and that's about it.
Right, but there's no emotional attachment. I don't care about him. So if he is supposed to be the BB-8 replacement, then they have to do the work of getting me to care for Bucket.
Yeah, I think maybe a better comparison would be Chopper.
When the show
I was thinking
when the show started, I didn't expect BB-8 to be so present in the series. I honestly just thought Bucket was the Chopper equivalent, so I was on board. I was so ready. I was like, okay, Bucket's the guy. And then
not so much.
11, 12 episodes in, nothing. So I don't care. I don't care about Bucket.
Yeah, I don't either. But I just brought it up because we do see Bibo attack Bucket, and the characters in the show, like Tam cares. She's like, oh shit, Bucket's being attacked. Like, we gotta, do the thing and make sure that Bucket doesn't lose any more parts off of his already completely stripped down hull and whatnot. I don't know. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you on Bucket. Next question. At one point in time, Yeager comes in and he says, what is Yeager's garage rule number 7? No pets. So what do you think the other 6 are, and or how many do you think there are total? Do you think he just has like this long list of like, he'll come in and be like, hey, what's Yeager's garage rule number 287? Don't trim your toenails in the middle of the garage or whatever,
I'm going to assume he does have an
obnoxiously
extensive,
long list.
Maybe not obnoxiously long, but let's just say extensive list of oddly specific things,
Right.
Like, I'm thinking 1 and 2 are going to be like, show up, do the work.
Okay.
And then it's going to get more and more specific from there, where it's going to be like, I don't know.
Do you
no
think
stealing, no funny business?
Do you think these are posted somewhere where it's like, whenever Kaz does something stupid, he's like, okay, gotta add it to the list. Like, no walking around in your underwear to take someone else's laundry after midnight,
There's probably like a good, like a worker's manual somewhere, and maybe on a data pad that he probably threw at Kaz at some point that we just didn't see.
I'm just imagining like some tapestry or some like paper tapestry on the wall, and it's like, oh, Yeager's going to write down another rule.
Do you mean like Harry Potter declarations, like, or not the decrees.
I was thinking more like
from,
a scroll, and then they just like run the scroll. Like the scroll just keeps getting longer and longer, so that
Right.
that Yeager can add more rules to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Da.
What? Real quick, what
Yeah.
did you make of the fact that Bibo seems to be able to eat anything? Tam notes that Bibo is kind of getting into various parts, various oils, various other liquids and fuels.
So if that were the case, I feel like there would be less wreckage to be salvaged. And this T-95 that is pulled up out of the ocean is like covered in coral. Like it's been there for a while. So it's got like some natural oceanic growth on it.
But there's still like a husk to it. There's still substance there for them to salvage stuff.
And I feel like if these Rachna truly devoured like everything, especially with the size of the giant kraken,
yes,
Tyrannosaurus, Godzilla thing that is Bibo's mother, there wouldn't be much wreckage left.
Yeah.
It would be consumed. So I feel like it's more that Bibo tries to eat everything, not necessarily that Bibo does eat everything. It's like a little it's like a little kid just fucking getting into everything and trying to stick everything in their mouth.
Right.
Like,
that I would agree with that assessment for sure.
So speaking of Bibo, how do you feel about this being an aquatic creature that can survive perfectly well out of the water? It seems to have air-breathing lungs, and this thing is acrobatic as fuck and can just like jump from anywhere to anywhere else and scurry around and is super fast.
That I'm okay with because the universe involves Gungans already, you know?
Okay.
So this is just a less humanoid version of that, you know? Like the more animalistic version, I guess.
Right. It's like a cephalopod version, but the thing presumably doesn't have like a skeletal structure. So I mean, that's an assumption on my part, but based on the design of the mother,
right, which is closer to a squid kraken
Godzilla dinosaur
thing. Yeah. I'm just gonna go with this one, you know, being able to hold some structure and or maybe like in its smaller form where like, you know, the weight of itself won't crush it the way like a beached whale kind of is fighting gravity more than anything when it gets beached, right? Like its own organs on the whale get crushed because it's so fucking big.
Right.
And it doesn't have the water to just buoyantly float around, you know?
Okay.
So I'm assuming maybe in smaller child form that, you know, the weight isn't an issue, so therefore it's able to just scurry around and do what it's got to do.
Okay.
You know? The way like octopus seem to continually escape aquariums.
True.
Right.
But they're not like ninja jumping.
No, definitely not. But yeah, like I said, in this universe, I'll make for certain leaps. Of yeah, I'll make for certain leaps of disbelief.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Can we talk about Sonara for a moment?
Yes.
Kaz goes to Sonara because the part that he got, I think Tam says something like, "Oh, it would have worked really well."
But it's corroded.
But it's corroded. Yeah, it's like an actuator or a stabilizer is what it is, right?
Yeah.
The stabilizer would have worked really well if it wasn't corroded. So Kaz goes to Sonara, I guess to ask for a different one, maybe? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't understand this because that's not how salvaging works.
Right. But it's totally to get him to Sonara to nearly catch her talking to head pirate guy Kragan, right? Kragan.
Yeah.
I always get his name wrong. Kragan. And she's kind of given Kragan a briefing. This is when he tells her that the two pilots that found her are working with the Resistance, right?
Yes. Yep.
So I was trying to think back, and I didn't review the episode, but I feel like she saw both Poe and Kaz, right? When she was rescued.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't she conscious at some point in time? So shouldn't she know
She was
who...
conscious, but maybe loopy.
Okay. Because I was thinking that she should know who the two pilots are. At least Kaz. Like, maybe she wouldn't know Poe by name, but she would probably recognize him if she had to pick him out of a lineup, would be my thought. Because Kragan's like, hey, I know that the two pilots that saved you are with the Resistance. You need to figure out who they are.
You know, honestly, thinking back, I think they pulled her out of the box. She was unconscious. Then they threw her on the ship while she was still unconscious. And then maybe that's... I feel like Poe did depart maybe before she woke up. So then it was Yeager and Kaz on that like giant like transport party bus ship thing that Yeager was driving.
Okay. So
I don't recall, honestly, though.
So secondly, how does Kragan know that they're with the Resistance? If he doesn't even know who they are, how does he know they're with the Resistance?
That was my question too. I don't know where he's getting this information from, because even like higher up sources say Phasma or Vonreg or
even a little lower than that, like Doza.
Yeah, but even then, like, the only people who know about that mission would be Yeager, Poe, and Kaz.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, maybe Leia, right?
Right.
But as the main characters on this show go, Yeager, Poe, Kaz. And then Doza doesn't know. Like, Doza doesn't know anything about Kaz. So then it's not coming from there. And it can't come from Phasma or Vonreg because they don't know anything about that. They didn't see him on that station.
Right.
Did they?
I think that Doza may know something's up with Kaz, because he is definitely, like, conveniently involved with, like, all of the shenanigans that are going on. Be it with the First Order or with the pirates or just kind of whatever is happening, Kaz seems to be associated with, if not in the middle of. And
Doza is building that file on Kaz.
Right,
so.
And he's been keeping an eye on him. So I think that maybe he doesn't know the full extent of his spyness, but he knows something's going on, right?
Right, yeah.
So that would lead me to believe that the info didn't come from him, because then he would already know who it's one of those things like, we know that these unidentified people are associated with this group, figure out who the unidentified people are. But if you don't know who they are, how do you know they're with a group? Right.
So I agree, there's a weird leap that's made in this episode with that, and I don't know, I have no idea where it's coming from.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Next up, Tam, who is identified by her full name, which is Tamara.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is talking to Yeager, because Yeager scolds Neeku and basically throws him out and says, get that fish, squid, duck thing out of here. And Neeku says, well, if Bibo's gone, I'm gone also. And then everybody's like super shocked, and then Neeku leaves, and Tam goes after him. Yeager's like, no, you need to stay here and do your job. And she says to Yeager, nope, I'm going after him because I'm going to help him find his little friend because it makes him happy. And then she says, Kaz has done many things far crazier than this, and we always lend him a helping hand. are these far crazier things like the stuff that we've seen in the previous episodes, or is there other stuff going on that you think she's talking about?
I think she's talking mostly about stuff we've seen in previous episodes. You know, him kind of not showing up to work for a couple episodes early on.
Okay.
Causing other mayhem, things like that.
Okay. I guess I just didn't, I don't know. The verbiage is weird.
Yeah, because also, at this point, how much time do you think has passed?
Well, it's definitely all within the same year, because all of this is said to take... We're still in 34 ABY.
Yeah, we're still prior to Force Awakens, basically, right?
Correct. We haven't got up there yet. Mm-hmm. So 6 months, maybe?
Yeah.
So it's a ballpark, but maybe. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Next I've got through this little exchange where after Sonara nearly gets caught, she's talking to Kaz, and Kaz is like, yo, the thing's corroded, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And she says, oh, well, I'm going on my last salvage run of the day. And they take this little ship thing down on the ocean. And this is where they find Bibo's mom, and basically Kaz can tell there's something underneath the boat, and then they're nearly attacked by it. Later, we see this thing can fly. So when they get attacked, why don't they just fly back to the station? Because they drive on the water back to the station like it's a boat or like a hover boat or whatever. And then when it gets to the station, it's just like, woo,
it lifts up.
It just flies up, and then it's got feet underneath it that it lands on. So why wouldn't they just fly back if they could do that? B, this ocean is really super calm, and every time I see it, I think, why are there not more waves on this ocean planet?
Mm-hmm. They'll animate in ripples on top of the water, but yeah, unless there's something that needs to happen, the waves are 6 inches in amplitude.
They're like wake at best.
Yes, yeah.
So
it is an oddly calm water system that only acts up if there's, say, a triple dark.
Well said. Yeah. Well said. Nice callback there.
Yep.
When Yeager calls to Tam and he's like, there's a disturbance in the maintenance area. It's maintenance area, right?
Engineering level.
Mm-hmm. I totally thought this was staged. This was Yeager trying to prove to Neeku that he did care and he did want to help. It totally seemed like a staged thing, because the last we see is Tam going, no, I'm going to help Neeku, he's my buddy, and this thing, Bibo makes him happy, so I'm going to go help him. And then she goes out and talks to Neeku, and he's all upset, and then you get this call from Yeager, and he's like, yeah, a report just came in that there is a disturbance in the engineering level. And she's like, oh, let's go check it out. And it turns out that it's actual intel that Yeager got from somewhere. Not really sure.
Yeah.
So then they go down.
I'm not sure about this one either, yeah.
They go down, and Tam gets to meet the Ninja Turtles of the Colossus and the children of Tehar.
Yeah.
And
so
honestly,
who knows about the children, by the way? It's only Kaz and Neeku, right?
Kaz, Neeku, now Tam, and the
Yeager doesn't. Yeah, but Yeager does not know. Yeah.
But apparently Ayla is psychic.
Yeah, where did that come from? That was definitely not established.
It came from this episode. Right?
Yeah, but it's so fucking weird and random. So, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot they existed for a hot second when they were just shown sitting there, they were just calmly hanging out. But it was one of those like, oh yeah, I forgot they existed, but that makes sense that they're there, you know.
Do you think that the shell folk are like trying to feed them like raw fish and shit and like whatever things that Space Ninja Turtles eat, or
like they're probably getting fish, and then the children from Tehar are doing their thing with it, and they're like, thanks for the fish, we're gonna
so it's just like a bunch of gorgs.
Yeah, it's probably a bunch of gorgs and whatever other random things they're salvaging, I guess. But with this episode now, kind of bringing the children of Tehar back, and you know, we had the one episode dealing with that, and then we kind of moved on. But now that they're back, and now that Ayla seems to have some psychic, is I wouldn't call it psychic, but like some
foresight.
Foresight, premonition abilities. Do you think they'll come into play a lot more later?
It's possible, and as you were describing this as foresight, premonition abilities, do you think that this is like a force sensitive ability? Or do you think that this is
possible.
Just something else?
That's possible.
Could
it might be
the first
a light
order,
touch of it.
Could the First Order want these kids because she is force sensitive?
That was kind of my guess. You know, now with this reveal in this episode regarding the children of Tehar, it kind of honestly makes the other episode stronger.
I will agree with you.
Extra information. Like, I don't remember what I gave that episode off the top of my head, like if I liked it or not, but you know, however I felt about that episode still will stand, but this kind of helps bring the world back. So I gave it a thumbs up.
You did.
Yeah. So this kind of the reason I say that I kind of I'd forgotten these characters existed, but I really liked that they didn't forget about them, because it's really easy for a show to forget about characters like this, but that they gave her a very strong part of the story.
She may or may not actually have a purpose now.
Right. Yes.
And her brother's, whatever her purpose is, her brother's purpose is the protector of his sister.
Right. And that's fine. Yeah. But
they are like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Like,
right.
I don't remember.
And hopefully,
what's his name?
Quicksilver or
no? Ayla's brother.
Kel.
So, in this analogy, Ayla is force sensitive, and that's why the First Order is trying to get her, right? And then Kel is going to sacrifice himself somewhere down the line, and there's going to be a large sentient robot thing named Ultron.
It's just gonna be a giant phasma, is what it's gonna be.
Nice, I dig it.
It's gonna be an army of giant phasmas, and what's the gold trooper's name again? I forgot the gold trooper's name. Fuck. Yeah, the bronze one. But it's gonna be a bunch of them. And so, all this said, I really hope that they do come back to these characters and that they do have a purpose. You know, it like I said, this show has been so episodic that I welcome any kind of callback to any previous episode that isn't, you know, a big glaring like epilogue of like, hey, here's a cliffhanger for this episode, you know. So anyways,
yes,
yeah, I really like that moment.
Okay, I dig it.
Even though it came out of fucking left field for me, like it definitely threw me off. But upon reflection,
talking this through makes me like it even more. But I agree. Like when I first saw it, it was like just kind of a what the fuck, and then it's over, and you move on to the next thing.
Because there's no lead up to it. It just like, ominous music just comes out of nowhere, and she just like starts pointing at the fucking thing, and is like, "This thing is gonna cause trouble for all of us."
I did like how she's all super vague, and Tam's like, "I don't have time for you to be vague about this. Just fucking tell me what's going on." And
yeah, I appreciate that from Tam as well.
That was nice. I enjoyed that.
Because I'm not gonna lie, Tam so far of the non-bucket related characters is the other weak character to me. You know, we haven't found out much about Tam, right? We haven't dug too much into her past yet.
I bet you it's coming.
Like we'll get a
Tam-centric episode.
Yeager, yeah, like a Yeager style, like what we got with Yeager.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So mostly the rest of my notes are about like this big end battle between the Aces and Bibo's mom. One of which is that we know very little about Griff, but I fucking love this guy. Like, he is an ex-TIE fighter pilot. He flies a modified TIE fighter. He's got an Imperial Cog tattoo. Wears the TIE fighter pilot helmet. Like, he is totally ex-Imperial and not hiding it. And doesn't give two shits. It's just who he is. And he's, like, on this literal backwater planet. Hanging out. Racing. And probably hanging out at the bar. And that's it.
Why do you think we've met the other ones, but not more about Griff? Like,
well, there's a couple that we haven't met. We don't know too much about Griff. We don't know too much about what I think Frida is her name, the red one.
Yeah, the red, and she's got like a slight Russian accent sort of thing happening, right?
Da.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the yellow one is we have learned nothing about in this series.
Right.
It is some Keldorian, male or female, I couldn't tell you. Yellow Power Ranger, that's all I know. But it was nice to see like the Aces in action going out, and what was even better is that Kaz takes the I almost called it the firebolt. But that's the broom.
The fireball.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the broom from Harry Potter, but the oft exploding ship that we haven't actually seen explode yet, even though it's known for it.
It's not it hasn't exploded, but engines have definitely blown.
Okay. I'll go with that.
We've seen like smoke trails and stuff coming out of it.
But I guess that stabilizer did work.
I got nothing on that. Yeah. Or, you know, maybe they were trying, like, I think the ship is running, but when they're salvaging for parts or when they're trying to fix it, they're basically trying to find
improvements.
Improvements to make it not burst into flames.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah. I mean, Kaz did a bomb-ass job, went out, risked his neck for everybody, and he ends up saving Griff and doing some other stuff. And then my last comment was about the comm system that kind of seems to run throughout the Colossus in general. And it seems to be like Siri voice activated, where you like say the person's name and then send your message, and then it goes to them. Because Neeku says, Kaz, blah, 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 like, quit shooting the thing. I have what it needs. And then he says, Ace 1 or Ace Commander or whatever, and talks to Hype Phazon. And then Hype says, like, calls to all Aces. And, like, each of them can hear, like, the one step that they need to.
Right.
But nobody can hear everything.
Yeah, like, not everybody was getting, like, Neeku's message, and not everybody was getting Kaz's message.
Right, and it's not like they're, like, flipping switches or something or dialing anything in. They're just, like, calling out, you know, Ace Commander, yada yada yada, and then Ace Commander says, like Ace Squadron, and that goes out to like all of Ace Squadron then.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's the way that it works, but I mean, I guess I'd be cool with that, whatever.
Yeah, and it would make sense, like rather than having flip buttons or push, like get distracted, if you can just make a voice command out of that.
Yeah.
That'd make sense. Just have your message goes where it needs to go rather than filling the lines up with useless chatter for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because definitely, I feel like in like the original trilogy, you had to have like specific comm links for different people. It's like Luke had a comm link for 3PO. Like they were just walkie-talkies, miniature version. So I guess that you just had to carry around like 50 million walkie-talkies if you wanted to talk to 50 million people. And this is just like an integrated comm system that seems to be kind of person dedicated, and you can talk to a specific person or you can group chat or whatever. So I mean, I dig it. That was cool.
And I think that's a cool system if that is indeed how it works. So, yeah.
So at the end of this, Neeku goes out to Bibo's mom and gives Bibo back, and they have a kissy moment. And the weirdest thing that I saw here is that this what are they called? Rachnas?
The Rachna?
Yeah. The Rachna mother like puts her tentacle out like a hand, like it just seems
palm up, I guess.
Palm up seemed very human like.
Right.
And the first thing on the description of these Rachna under the biological classification is non-sentient. So it's just kind of like it's just weird. Like this thing's supposed to be like a destruction beast, like going after its offspring, and then it does like this really human thing where it recognizes that there is no threat and its baby's coming home, and it can like offer palm up.
Those are still animalistic things, though. I think by Star Wars definition, like sentience means you could like join the Senate, right? Like Jar Jar is sentient. This is not able to express full reason to be able to join a galactic senate, but there are still like maternalistic actions that it can take as an animal, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think that in the Old Republic, Wookiees were considered non-sentient, and they were actually represented in the Senate also, which is weird. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it, but it seems to go from like this animalistic rage monster to like offering or accepting peace like rather quickly.
Well, I think a big part of it is that it's just like a rampaging, like, where's my daughter sort of situation. Like, think, Honey, I Shrunk the Fucking Kids.
I was thinking more like Lost World, and when Mama T-Rex gets baby T-Rex back, she doesn't just like roar her T-Rex roar and then dive back down into the water like this thing does. But she is like, okay, I got my baby back, and now I'm going to fucking destroy you because you took my baby in the first place.
Right. Yeah, like, what this episode is trying to get across, and I don't think this part comes across decently well at all, is the point that, like, it's the misunderstanding that Tam kind of throws out there that causes them all to think that the monster is fully attacking, whereas Mama Rachna is just trying to find its baby, right?
I like that name, Mama Rachna.
Mama Rachna.
Mama Rachna.
So, if there's one big flaw to this episode, it's the way that Tam just keeps throwing out information and getting shit wrong, and I this is I do this every now and then where I step back and I'm like, I get the show's for kids, but I saw that coming from like the moment we saw Mama Rachna.
Like don't prejudice when you don't know.
Right. But like as soon as the thing flipped up from the water, I'm like, that thing is related to Bibo. I don't know how, I don't care how, it's related. And then Tam and Neeku's like revelation that it's like related also then is another leap of faith that happens. And that's fine. It just happens quickly and it's way too obvious to me. But then, therefore, that's kind of why I don't have an issue with Mama Rachna. Then just like, yeah, I got my Bibo back. That's cool. Let's go back home. Like, you have chores to do, Bibo.
I got my Bibo back, Bibo back, Bibo back, Bibo back.
God. Oh, God.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so okay. That's why the outward tentacle to accept peacefully the child Rachna back didn't bother me too much. So
okay,
yeah,
I dig it.
Yeah,
so let's do
wrap
this
it up.
thing. Final judgment. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What you got?
I am going to give this episode a thumbs down.
Okay.
Like I just said, I found this episode so obvious that by the time the Colossus starts getting attacked, I did not care. Did not care at all. Also, because this is sort of a Neeku heavy episode.
Mm-hmm.
He's been fine in other episodes before. I don't think he's fine here. He annoys the shit out of me still. Completely annoying. Now, that said, as we talked about it here in this episode, the Children of Tehar is an interesting progression in the overall story, but this still feels like a standalone throwaway episode to me that is pointless. Like I already feel that by next week I will not remember what this episode is about, other than the title is the name of the creature, so therefore I'll remember this as the creature episode.
Fair enough.
But like the other litmus I've been putting the show up to is like, if we weren't doing our podcasts,
would this compel you to continue watching?
Right. And this would be the episode if I had stuck with it this far. Like I feel like if I were binge watching this show would be the episode that I start watching and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start making dinner during this episode and just kind of keep an eye on it miss nothing.
It's the shit break episode.
Right, yeah. So that's where I stand with this episode. It's not an awful episode. It's not a terrible episode. It's just not good enough for me to give a thumbs up.
Okay.
It's not entertaining to me.
I gave this one a thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I liked the, I won't even call it an homage, but like the monster attacks thing, I was cool with. It was fine.
Yeah.
You're on a water planet. You're gonna have some combination kraken, squid, octopus, dinosaur attack going on.
Right. Uh-huh.
It's gonna happen, and I think it was done all right. I in opposition to your dislike of Neeku in this episode, I enjoyed it. Like, Neeku finally had something to do other than just like wisecrack and misunderstand things, right? He's the one that actually knew what was going on. Like, this isn't a dangerous creature. Like, it's not Bibo's fault. Like, he's the one that figured it out. So gave him a little bit of a moment to shine, I guess, in being himself, right? Mm-hmm. The who's who of Star Wars Resistance that happened here, like, we had almost every guest star that we've had so far, like, reappear on this episode. And I thought that was cool. Like, we had a little break. We need to kind of beef up this episode and give people a reason, like remind people why they stuck around over the past 4 weeks or whatever with no new episodes, and bringing back Hype Faison and bringing back Frodo Flyer, whatever his name is, I don't remember.
Right.
I think they could have taken it one step further, and I think they could have had the two people that I can't remember that I equated to the Angry Birds guys from the supply room or whatever.
Yep.
And honestly, they could have even gone like one step further than that and brought back like the little short dude that Kaz got in a fight with the darts game from Recruit.
He was in the background.
Was
he?
He
Didn't notice. He was in the background, so I did notice him. Yeah,
cool.
He shows up for a quick second. Yeah.
And
I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
Bring in Aunt Z. Like,
right.
She's invested in the Colossus. It's her livelihood. So, I think they could have pushed that who's who even further. And I'm all in,
I will agree. I did like that aspect of this episode where Rucklin is Frodo Racer's name. But the little creature that he was just in the background. I kind of like that. This seems like there's still a lot of life to this platform, but as the episodes go on, we find out like the big guy that Kaz got in trouble with was the shopkeeper of the Gorg.
The Gorgs, right?
Yeah, the Gorg supply, right? And then
dude with the black sun tattoo,
right? And then you kind of see these characters now populating like the marketplace and stuff like that. I really appreciate all of that, and I agree. If the show can kind of keep even just the Colossus feeling like a small little world within the bigger world, right? I think that is a strong point to that, and I appreciated all of that for this episode. It's just the everything else.
Yeah,
this episode.
I totally get it. All of your critiques are valid, and
right.
You're not just saying, "Oh, this is stupid because of I don't know some."
Just because I don't like it,
right?
Yeah. But like you said, I was surprised that Rucklin showed up and it was Elijah Wood's voice. I was like, oh shit, they got Elijah Wood for like 2 lines for this one episode.
I think it was only 1 line, wasn't it?
Maybe, yeah. It was like maybe like 5 words max.
It was definitely either 1 line or 2 lines because, I'm not always 100% eyes locked on the screen, right? Especially like the first go through. Of the episode, and I was looking down or something and I heard it, and what he says is like basically like, Jesus, Neeku, like get that thing out of here.
Right, exactly.
And I was like, what? And I looked up and I could see him like on the side of the screen or whatever, and I was like, all right, that's cool. And then I really dig the children of Tehar being in this, and then after we talked about it, I dig it even more. The transmission that Sonara has, if that doesn't go somewhere, I'll be ticked. Like, I'll be pissed. If you include it in this episode and it doesn't go on to for something after that, then I'm gonna be pissed. But I don't know. I feel like that can be leading into something deeper.
Right.
Because if not, it's pointless.
Well, yeah, that one was way too overt of like a story drop for them to just ignore.
Right.
And like I said, I forgot the Children of Tehar existed, but now after this, I really hope that they do become a thing. And I'll be more mad if they came back for this episode with that revelation and we don't get anything out of that. So
yeah, if we don't see Rucklin again, like, cool cameo. If we don't see the Children from Tehar again, stupid episode.
Right.
Shame
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, because Ruckland definitely was a early episode world building experience with more characters on the Colossus. That's fine. But after this episode, the Children of Tehar, like, wait, what? You're going to have to explain that a lot, please.
We have one more thing to do, and that's give our one-word review of this episode. And for myself, what I would call this particular episode is world building. Because I think that it does a decent job of that with kind of doing the who's who and like bringing these other characters back in and whatnot. So that's what I'm going with.
Will you say that one more time? You literally cut out for just the one word.
Oh, that's nice. I said world building.
Okay. I'm going to go with merchandise because Bibo is so tiny and so cute that's all I thought about. I was like, oh, here we go. Merch opportunities. So, yep. Merch opportunities. Merchandising. So, yeah, that's what I got here. Yep. That's what I have here. Anyways.
So we're over halfway, or we are either over halfway or we are halfway through this thing. What's your feeling so far? Do you feel like it's going in a good direction? Do you feel like it's just the kind of, just beating the trail, or do you have expectations or hopes for the future? Do you think there's going to be a payoff kind of deal?
No, it's there. I'm sure by the last handful of episodes, it'll kind of all come together. It's just the show is definitely meandering a lot. It's definitely taking its sweet time. It's spending too much time in the world building and not enough time in the actual story of things, right?
Okay.
That's my feeling as of now. Like I said, my no question, if we weren't doing this podcast on this show, I would have stopped like 5 episodes ago watching this series. Just full honesty there. Like as the show goes, there's just nothing here to latch on to keep me coming back week to week to week,
Right.
So that's kind of my review for the series up to this point.
Yeah, I will say that I really feel like each episode we get to, at the end, I'm like, okay, that was cool. There's a couple of things that feel like a setup for like what's to come, and then the next episode it's like a different couple of setups, and so I am hopeful that this stuff is going to tie together and there is going to be some sort of big payoff at the end of this thing, and it's not just going to be like a collection of this stuff that happens when Kaz is around, and like there's these little tidbits of information of the larger universe, and that's it. I don't know so far with what I've seen. Maybe that could happen. Maybe, it could go either way. I'm 50-50 on it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's disappointing to me because like the era of television that we're in right now, episodic television is possible. You have like shows that go far out there, say like Black Mirror, that is like each episode is a standalone, and they in fact even submit it to Emmy consideration as a limited movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like San Junipero won for made for TV movie, even though it's technically an episode of a series, but because of how that series works, they're like, no, fuck it, this is a movie, right?
Right.
But with something like Star Wars, it's weird to me that they don't think of a single throughput story and have that story specifically progress with each episode.
Yeah, this does seem to be suffering from a slight lack of cohesion, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully we'll get some glue on this thing, and stuff will start sticking together,
Right.
and we'll start rolling.
Yeah.
I think if it does hit that point, it's going to take off, and it's going to be a great show. We haven't got there yet.
Looking forward to next week. The information I have is that next week's episode is titled Dangerous Business.
Nice.
And therefore, maybe, hopefully, we'll get some of what we're hoping for.
Sounds dangerous.
According to IMDb, as far as I can see, there's only 6 episodes remaining after this. As I'm looking now. It's only showing 17 episodes. 17 counting The Recruit as one single episode.
Interesting.
So that's 17/18, however you want to count that. So we'll see about that. But until then, these have been not the nerds you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm Lorenzo Fon.
I'm Kevin Horde. And these aren't the nerds you're looking for.
Goodbye, everybody.